This is the first video of this year, and I wanted to start by doing a reflection on my journey from the past year and break down why I failed to reach my goals. And the main focus of this is to see what worked and what didn't, and ultimately become a better game developer this year. If you're new here, hi, my name is Moss. I'm a solo developer working on a game called Duck Norris Tales, where you play as a duck saving the world from an alien invasion, and you can wishlist it now on Steam. Part of last year's plan was to do two things. First, work on the game and build systems that allow me have a better workflow. And second is to document all of it on YouTube. And I'm not gonna lie, last year has been a roller coaster. With all the layoffs and everything that's happening in the gaming industry, things have been taking a wild turn. On one hand, it's been a blessing that I've done like solid progress overall. However, it's been a challenge to balance everything out from personal life to other projects and just work everything all at once. Because there's usually some other obligations that pull you away from doing game development. And I was just looking at the current situation lately for indie developers. I feel like it's so much harder to become indie, especially with established projects that hardly get funded properly on Kickstarter and spending years and years just developing and barely doing okay. Because if you look at currently what's going on, it doesn't look that great. But one thing I truly believe in is like, if you put yourself out there, that's already half the battle. Every creator needs to share their work to get some feedback and work with others. And for me, that meant that I have to dedicate most of my time working on YouTube and posting on Twitter. YouTube in particular has been a game changer for me. Because on one hand, I can just go back and see all of my videos and it feels like I can check out my journey from the start. I created like 56 videos and broke 50,000 views just last year. And that's double the views from the previous year. So overall, I think it did okay, but I think just part of us like always wants to do more and we're not always satisfied with what we create. And that's something I've been struggling with a lot lately. Like I know I've done, like if you just kind of look at your current state and what you've done, like sometimes you feel like you're not doing enough. But when you zoom out, you see like there's progress. And sometimes progress is way better than just being stagnant, right? Now let's shift focus on the game development progress and Duck Norris Tales. Oh man, this year was intense. So much happened and I just barely noticed the time passing. Between working on the game and just doing YouTube, it just felt like it was non-stop, like I barely had time to breathe. But here's the thing, like ultimately, even though I made some progress, it felt like I failed my goals. At the start of the year, I had a very good foundation and I wanted to focus mainly on the game loop and focus on boss fights. And one of the biggest tasks was I wanted to work on a robust system that I can just take in, drop a sprite in, and just do some tweaks and just have a boss ready, just to give me a chance to create as many bosses as possible. My vision was I wanted to get the main narrative complete so I can focus on the other things like level design, sound, and just music. And the system took a little longer than I thought. It actually took close to 2 months to create. And for everything that I do, I just like to build something once and use 100 times. And that's kind of like a good ROI for the time invested in the project and how I'm going to use it later. Since this was my first project on GameMaker, I came into it pretty green and I had no templates to work with. It was mainly try and error until I got something that didn't glitch out. And my main focus for this one was I wanted to do three things. First, I just wanted to map the animations and make them like work, because sometimes in GameMaker the animations just like glitch out for no reason. Second, I wanted to have an intro for each boss and have a death animation scene. And most of the time I was just fixing bugs here and there and just trying to battle with my brain, trying to comprehend like how do I make it easier in the future, because I have done things where it works now, but when I'm trying to alter it for other bosses, I just have to rewrite the code. And I was just like wanted to do it once and that was it. Once I had the logic in place, now it was time to actually put the bosses. And I wanted to have the first boss to be challenging, but also familiar to a lot of players. Basically give it predictable movesets so people don't just kind of rage quit, but I also wanted it to be kind of a tutorial boss to get you acquainted with how the game plays. And I didn't know how long this will take me because you kind of learn how to choreograph your animation with the timing and learn how to tie all of that together. So one thing that I had was if I created an animation in 1.5 seconds and I wanted to have a loop where it's only 1 second, that kind of screws up the whole animation. So you have to have so much intentionality in your project, in your code and your animation. So everything has to tie in together. And that was something that I think sadly actually took me a while to figure out, even though it seems obvious on paper. But when you are in the flow and working on, especially when you're working with art, you kind of get taken away. You do so many animation and then figure out like, oh my God, okay, now yeah, why did I make this animation 2 seconds long? This is too long for a player. They were actually to kick the boss's ass. It's supposed to be shorter than that. So it was easy to fix because you can go in and just take out some frames. But it just took a while for me to kind of figure out how to do that effectively and just like don't let your brain take over. Like you have to have a system in mind to make that work. With that being said, I created my first boss and it was so much fun to play with, but then I got a little ambitious. And I thought myself, well, now I have the system, why don't I just create one full boss per month? And in my head, it sounded doable. But what I didn't account for was like everything was going on with my life, like family, other work, and just like doing things on a day-to-day basis. And long story short, after I hit 4 months, I only created two bosses. And I was just going slower than anticipated. And anyways, I after I created like three bosses, I wanted to get feedback. So I decided that I'm gonna take a month off, create an MVP, and send it to family and friends. And I can fairly say that it would be like a pre-alpha because it was basically had nothing. It was bare bones. It only had Duck Norris, the boss, and a gun. And I'm like, just wanted them to play it and see if this actually is a good game loop. And if I just got the feel of the game right. I had a friend that actually played the three bosses for more than 2 hours. And this gave me a glimmer of hope that I have a good foundation to play with. I wanted the bosses to be challenging, but also everything to be mechanical. Like if you fail, it's not because of a glitch on the code side, similar to how Dark Souls, Black Myth Wukong play. So I took all of the feedback they gave me and I wanted to work on an alpha release for itch. And to tell you what, the feedback on that MVP was amazing. I had so many people come to me and tell me how much fun they had. I had some people that reported so many different bugs and glitches and helped me actually get this into a better state. And also it kickstarted a Discord community. And shout out to Henry Comp who created the background track for Duck Norris Tales right now on itch. To me, it felt like a celebration that I got that out and it was kind of like a dream come true because I wasn't even sure if it would be fun and it was a great start. And now with the MVP out, I just set my eyes to just create as many bosses as I could. And I had three concepts ready to go. The first turned out great. I had a lot of game testers come back and tell me like this was the most challenging boss they ever played. It had so many good move sets and it was just a great start. But then just life and side projects that had to pull me away for a bit and I had to travel, so my productivity took like a big hit. But the problem with this demo was it was a truly MVP. Like there was no sound manager, there was no menus, there was hardly anything other than just the character, the move sets, and just changing a weapon. But before even working on the menus and all of the other systems, I felt like I needed to take a step back. I knew that taking 2 months to do that system just didn't make sense, so I wanted to get better at coding first before I come back and just do a better job because time is the most valuable asset we have right now, and I just don't want to waste so much time on something that's so small that's supposed to take a day or two, but it'll take me a week. So I took the last like 3 months of that year to just brush up my coding, work on like mini apps, and just become a better developer. So one thing I set my eye on, I just wanted to collaborate with so many people and work on IRL projects. Basically, I wanted to get myself mentally ready for this year to come in very strong. And I was fortunate enough to meet up people who actually worked on like the Godot repo and just they're contributing to it like weekly. I met game devs who do cybersecurity for a living. It was such an eye-opening experience that helped me understand this industry a little bit better. And this brings us to today. I know that I've created, it seemed like there's so much work has been done last year, but if I just zoom out and look at pure numbers, my goal was to create 10 bosses. I've only created 6. And out of the 6, actually 4 are pretty much good to go. There's 2 that are still has some bugs and some of the animations are not even complete. And I can say the same thing about YouTube. I was aiming to create like 80 videos. I've only created 56. Um, Basically, this year I want to try and make some like a better system. I want to be a little bit more committed, create a little bit more art, and also just code more efficiently, just to work faster and just be better. I hope this was helpful to you in any chance. I know it was a very different video, but if you enjoyed it, like please leave it a like and a comment. It really helped me with the algorithm and helped the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this video, yeah, pretty sure you're gonna enjoy this video as well. Thank you so much. Just remember, take it one day at a time, and I'll see you in the next video.